Hello, viewers. Good evening, and welcome to day 3 out of 4 of the prelims of the National Science and Maths Quiz. This is the third episode of the NSMQ Review Show. I am your host, Dr. Stephen Nimo. My guests for today are two gentlemen. I have with me here Mr. Neil Ate, who is a member of the Primetime Production Team, and Mr. Martin, who is the coordinator for Kumasi Academy Senior High School. Before we go straight into it, please note that the National Science and Maths Quiz is proudly sponsored by the Ghana Education Service in partnership with GOIL and supported by Joy News, Pepsodent, Jew Pay Money Transfer, Prudential Life Insurance, Bitter Malt, Kivo, ALX, Coronation Insurance, Bell Beverages, Flora Tissues, Accra College of Medicine, Academic City University College, University of Mines and Technology, PMMC Jewelry, YFM, CHAS, GTP, and Gelmark Foundation. This, as usual, is a primetime production. You are welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
I'll start with you, Mr. Martin. How has the program been for you so far?
It's been quite exciting. I have enjoyed the day, actually, with some wonderful contests. So far, so good.
Thank you very much. Mr. Nilate, you are the CNC auditorium.
Right.
Did the contestants meet your expectations?
Well, I think we were served more than just expectations that were supposed to be met. The unpredictable nature of the NSMQ is what we signed up for, and it's exactly what we got today, with highlights being on Krobo girls losing out to their opponents in the final round.
Talking about Krobo girls, we've had a series of dramatic events or turnouts today.
All right.
Krobo girls led the competition till they were ousted by their opponents at the final round. That's St. Mary's boys.
St. Mary's, yeah.
The same thing happened yesterday with University Practice and Efia could be Ampim girls. Do you think the girls lack composure when they are in a closely contested contest?
Well, I think, first of all, it's a fascinating scenario. And once again, it speaks to the unpredictable nature of competitions like the NSMQ. I can confidently say the NSMQ is the Champions Leagues of academia competitions. And what do you call them? Krobo girls showed character and endurance right to the fourth round until they lost momentum and then gave it all up for St. Mary's boys. I don't think it has to do with the gender, but I think it speaks to the proverb that says that the race is not to the swift, but to those who keep running. Your talents, abilities, skills will take you to the top, but character is what will keep you there. And I think it's something we've seen across industries, competitions and all, where you see some teams start strongly, make it to quite a long distance, and then they get to the very point where it's most important, and then they lose out. So by and by, I think they may have been rattled by the intensity of the final round. So hopefully they learn from this, and then the next time they are featured in any competition, they do better.
Yeah, so we are all trying to promote a lot of girls school participating in the competition. We hope their mark is high enough for them to be part of the 8 runner-ups.
I hope so too.
Mr. Martin, you are the coordinator for Kumaka. Looking at the Ashanti region and how the competition is in the region, and considering the very last contest we had here at the SGS auditorium, were you expecting KNUST SHS to win the particular contest coming up against Adventist SHS and Sewanyakon girls?
I think the last round was quite interesting. I thought that Adventist had already sealed it when KNUST came up with those wonderful riddles, and then eventually they came up winning. Honestly, the Ashanti region schools, I am not so happy this year, because usually the prelim stage is for Ashanti region schools and you see maybe few schools going out. But this particular year, I think I've been observing quite a number of the Ashanti schools struggling in the preliminary stages. In fact, we were not so happy about this particular pairing, because all those schools are very good and they are potential schools that could be seeded. But unfortunately, two of them would have to make way for KNUST, who stood up tall. I'm hoping that Adventists will come stronger next year. I understand that their guys are informed too, and I believe they are coming back stronger next year.
Oh, we are informed too.
Yeah, they are informed too.
Oh,
the
wow.
guys who presented Adventists are informed too.
Then they did very well.
Yeah.
They did pretty well.
Mr. Nilati, another surprise of the day, per comments I read on social media, was the contest that had Ashaiman Senior High School coming up against Agri Memorial SHS. Were you surprised that Ashaiman SHS won that particular contest?
Honestly, and with the greatest of respect to Ashaiman Secondary School, I was surprised because to me it was like a top 10 team versus a mid-table team, or probably a bottom table team. And I was expecting Agri Memorial to take the first spot at the end of the day, but unfortunately that didn't happen. But I was impressed by the dynamic showcase of intellect and strategy, and then the level of competition that we saw today. If this was scripted, then we have to give big ups to whoever wrote the script. But this is actually something that happened with no level of influence whatsoever, within and without. So it goes to tell other schools who are considered like Ashaimans from their regions that they can also do same and surprise us. We are here for the surprises. We are here for every Ghanaian school taking part in this competition to promote themselves and attract GSS leavers to their schools as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
But personally, I wasn't really surprised because if you follow the Greater Accra Regional Championship, Ashaiman SHS qualified from the regional qualifiers
Right.
and made it to the finals of the Accra Regional Championship. And they were not left out. If you look at the contest, you can see that they were not there by chance. They actually fought through everything to get there.
Well,
So maybe they are one of the schools to look out for this year.
Definitely. Well, I think that is a good observation. However, the NSMQ is a different platform altogether. It's like a championship team in the Premier League, a championship team coming to the Premier League. They boss it down there, but they get to where the big boys play, and it's a different story. But it looks like Ashaiman looks to rewrite that kind of script. So let's hope that works out for them.
Sure, thank you very much. Please do go through the contest for the day. So at the Auditorium 900, the very first contest featured a Kumfiamiao Senior High Technical School, Awudomi SHS, and Sewakese Girls SHS. Sewakese Girls SHS are first-timers in the competition. Kumfiamiao won the contest with 47 points, as against Awudomi SHS getting 46 and Sewakese 23. Mr. Martin, Awudomi SHS was at the finals of the Volta Regional Championship, and they qualified with 71 points at the regional qualifiers. Do you think this is below their normal performance, or if you consider the competitiveness of the competition in their region, you are not really surprised that they couldn't win this contest?
Yeah, sincerely, every contest has its own dynamics. Sometimes if you judge coming from the regions and so on, you might make mistakes because schools have ample time to prepare to the national level. So if care is not taken, you may be surprised. And it is not really surprising that Kumfia Meya pulled a wonderful performance today. I think they are a school to watch going forward. Awudomi didn't do badly at all. And I hope with their marks they can qualify to the next stage of the competition. But sometimes it's good you don't underestimate any school. And I think there will be some surprise packages as we move on. Every year comes with its own surprises. And I think this has been a very good contest. And I enjoyed the contest myself. And I love the way the two top schools made it up to the 40 mark and hoping they both qualify. I think they put up a good show.
Thank you very much for your submission. At the SGS Auditorium, where we are having this review show, Sugakope SHS had 41 points against Edidomi, coming up second with 36 points, and Preze SHS 9 points. All these schools are in the Volta region. And Edidomi followed closely till the very last round, where Sogakope won with 41 points. Looking at these scores, do you think the Volta region schools stand a chance this year in doing very well in the competition?
Yes, I believe they've always had a chance. Bar the well-known names from the Volta region like the Maulis, the Bishop Hermans and co. I think this year is a chance for the, in quotes, lesser-known Volta regional schools to showcase that there is more than just musical talents like Stoneboy coming from there, but then there's also talents in academia that can emerge from there. So they are one region to look at for this year's competition.
Thank you very much for the submission. There's also another very interesting contest that happened today. At the CNC auditorium, Mr. Martin, Okwapiman SHS Okwapiman School won the contest with 48 points against St. Thomas Aquinas SHS, coming up second with 28 points, and Edukrom Presby's 23 points. St. Thomas Aquinas SHS, having been doing so well since they last got to the quarterfinals in 2018. They've been to the prelims back to back to back to back. And this is a school that has actually won the competition before.
Right.
As a coordinator, what do you think can account for some of these things that we see in the competition?
In fact, I was actually shocked when I was watching that contest because it's one of the surprises again. Because seeing defending champions being defeated that much by a school that is not that much known, I think it was quite surprising. And you see, I think in situations like this, it depends on the administration. I think the administration will have to look into the NSMQ, look into the coordination aspect of it, remunerate the teachers enough. I don't know how they are handling the NSMQ of late. A couple of years back, I think they even gave Prempeh College a tough time when we thought Prempeh was at their peak. But with this performance and also coming up with a white gentleman also gave this. You see, people were talking about it in social media. You see, all eyes were on them. But unfortunately, I believe maybe they did their best, but then the contest dynamics again. Sometimes you could prepare very well, but on the day of the contest, anything at all can happen. If that day doesn't go well for you, things begin to go bad. But I believe there's a specific problem with maybe the way St. Thomas Aquinas is managing their NSMQ lately. And I think the school administration, the old students, perhaps might want to get involved and then see to it that they put one or two things in place to beef up the team and then also to support the teachers to really lift up the face of their NSMQ.
Thank you very much for your submission. Mr. Nidate, at the Auditorium 900, we have Ebuakwa State College winning the contest with 51 points, coming up against Waliwali SHS, who had 32 points, and Islamic SHS Kumase, who had 19 points. Maybe we haven't realized, but from today's contest, we can all see that the Eastern region schools are doing very well in the competition this year. Because all the Ebuakwa State College has history in this competition. They've been to the national competition. I think they come here almost every year, but their performance hasn't been up there like that. And win against Waliwale SHS or Islamic SHS. Will you ascribe this victory to the fact that the boys are good, or you may consider the schools that they came up with and say that this was a cool job for Ebuakwa State College?
Well, the boys definitely are good, but a number of factors come together to ensure that you win and win convincingly, or you win and win by the skin of the teeth. And I'm sure that beyond their intellectual depth, there were definitely different levels of preparations that were put into this competition to make sure that they came out tops. Their teachers definitely must be commended, and every other person that also helped in making sure that they were winners today. Energy from the crowd, support from the school, their parents, friends, online support, offline support, communities they built around these kids, around these competitors, to ensure that when it's all said and done, we can say we are champions.
Thank you very much. Mr. Martin, now to your own contest. Kumasi Academy won the contest with 56 points, against Xavier SHS getting 16 points, and Bato SHS getting 14 points. Were you impressed with your performance?
Yeah, I would say I was impressed. Though it wasn't a tough contest for Kumaka, and everybody knows it was expected. Let me put it that way. It was expected. I think the most challenging task is the next round when the big guys are unleashed upon us. That is the seeded schools, and I know some of them have started coming. I think that is where we are looking at. But in fact, I was impressed with the score, winning the highest scorer of the day. I think is quite impressive. If we don't go home with anything at all, at least that alone is a booster. And then I'm hoping that we replicate such a performance in the coming rounds.
Thank you very much. But still on Kumaka, is there any school that you are anxious to meet this year? Maybe
Okay.
let's limit it to, say, Ashanti region. Is there any school in Ashanti region that you're very anxious to meet this year?
Okay, I would put your question another way. In fact, I might want to meet certain schools, but there are certain schools I don't want to venture. Opokuwari is one of the schools I don't want to get close. In fact, I completed Opokuwari, and then we've met them a couple of times, and I know what they can do. I know what Apumaba and those guys can do. So for Owas, I am not anticipating to meet them anytime soon. But given any other opportunity, I think we will try and then do our best. Prempe College too, you wouldn't love to meet them. But with the rest, if you want to go far, then you must be prepared to meet all schools. But sometimes too, you wish and then you pray. You don't come across certain guys at the early stages. Yeah, so for Owas and then Prempe College from Ashanti, I wouldn't want to meet them. But I'm not so anxious to meet particular schools from Ashanti.
Kumasi High School?
Well, when we meet them,
Regional
we'll see.
champions.
Pardon?
Regional champions.
Yeah, they are the regional champions, but to be honest with you, I am not praying we meet them, and neither am I praying we don't meet them. If you want to go far, you should be prepared to meet such schools, because I believe that they are at our level. But if I want to be sincere and honest to myself, I know Uwas and Prempe are a little bit ahead, and if you want to go far, you wish not to meet them. Or else I don't want to say I'm anxious to meet any other Ashanti school. And even at this stage, you wouldn't want to meet the Ashanti schools. I would wish that we get more seats or even maintain the seat of about 8 schools. Yeah, I think last 2 years there were 8 seated schools from Ashanti. Last year too the same. I would want us to at least maintain the number, because things have not been going so well for Ashanti this particular year. It's quite tough. And like you rightly said, I think the Volta schools and the Eastern schools are doing pretty well. I think the coordinator from OT told me that these days you have to fear any little school or any so-called small school from Volta or even Eastern. So I think it's going to be quite cagey, but definitely there are some schools I wouldn't want to meet. But the rest, I think you have to be able to take the bull by the horn in case you are meeting them, and then make sure you sail through.
Sure, thank you. This is one statement that I told a prosec friend of mine, and what he said was, if you are good, you are good. When he hears people saying that you don't have to underestimate any school and all that,
Yeah.
all he says is, if you are good, you are good. They have the evidence, so there's nothing we can say. Mr. Anilate, we move on straight to Auditorium 900. Konongo Dumasi SHS won the contest with 56 points. St. Francis Xavier Junior Seminary came second with 32 points, and St. Joseph SHS third with 28 points. I think we all expected this contest to be very tough, because St. Francis Xavier SHS are very formidable when it comes to the national competition. They were even at the finals of their regional championship. And Konongo Dumase, I must say this year, are struggling a bit. So if you consider the performance, a northern zonal finalist coming up against, say, a struggling school in the Ashanti region and losing with over 20 points, what do you say about this contest?
Well, I think this also adds to the category of upsets. I'm beginning to feel that if NSMQ had themes every year, this year's theme will be the year of upsets. We are seeing schools who we wouldn't necessarily book to take the top spot doing that. So it goes a long way to tell you that this is not a year to underestimate anybody, no matter who you are. And if you were banking on the well-known schools like St. Francis Xavier and others in the various regions to take the top spots, then you can only hope that it happens. But you can't confidently bank on them and say that this is going to win. So what the best we can do right now is just to hope for a great competition.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Mr. Martin, another school from the Eastern region also won the contest. That's Oyoko Methodist SHS, won the contest with 53 points. Kwawutafo SHS 37 and Doma SHS 15 points.
That is another surprising performance. Whooping 53 points. I think it's not easy. I don't know, whatever the Eastern regional schools are doing, I think they should keep it up. They've been marvelous this year. In fact, they started with Suhum, Presby, Abetifi, Presby, all those pre-sec schools last year. And you realize that they are building momentum and they are coming. So now, you don't only have to think of St. Peter's, but whenever you meet any Eastern regional school, I think you've got to be careful. And then, so they are under monitoring. We are also monitoring from afar and then preparing for them. But I think it was an interesting contest. And I love the fact that such schools that are not so much known in NSMQ are also pushing up. Though the bigger schools come with some vibe, they come with some energy when they are always on board. But sometimes when you see some of these not much known schools also come on board, it also gives opportunity, and then it motivates the other, to say smaller schools to also try and push up. It gives them confidence that they can also do it. So now you see a lot of so-called smaller schools also trying to do their best, and they are pushing through, and I think it's good for the competition.
Sure. Thank you very much. Still on you, Mr. Martin. Okay. The last contest here at the SGS Auditorium featured Adventist SHS Bantama, KNST SHS, and Sewanya Akun Girls Senior High School. KNST SHS won the contest with 40 points. Adventist SHS came in second with 38 points, and Sewanya Akun Girls with 19 points. The contest, I must say, was a very interesting and competitive one. Did you expect this? And before you bring up your submission, KNST SHS this year haven't been all that great when it comes to the speed race. If you watch from the qualifiers, although they had 75 points, and even to the Ashanti Regional Championship where they met Opokuari School and same SHS and Amphor SHS, their round one has always been solid, but their speed race have been bad, and just like you said, it takes time for some schools to work on certain areas of the competition and all that. What do you make of their performance?
Okay, generally, the performance today wasn't so good, but I know it is also because of the pressure and the tension, because they have this record with SDA, and then when these two big schools from Ashanti are meeting, you should always expect some upset, some kind of pressure. If you are a coordinator after such contest, you need to check your pressure. I met the KNUST coordinator. He was just panting like that. He was just left off the hook. And you see, these were nervous moments. And when children are, when the students are on stage like that, sometimes because of the pressure, how nervous everything is, sometimes they are bound to make petty mistakes. And I believe that KNUST will come stronger going into the next contest. Their coordinator wasn't so happy. He felt he was just left off the hook. And I know the children themselves were not so pleased with the performance. I don't want to blame them. They were in for, indeed, a tough contest. This was the Ashanti Derby, and all those schools are potential seeding schools. So if you meet at this stage with the fear of you having to go and take early shower and all that, when you sit here, there'll be much pressure on you. It was an interesting contest, and I loved what I saw, though I felt the schools could have done better. I was even hoping and praying that at least both of them crossed the 40 mark so that they could have a chance of Yes, qualifying to the 1A stage. Unfortunately, SDA would have to leave us. But I said there is some hope for them next year, and I am hoping KNUST to come up stronger in the 1A stage.
Can you please briefly answer this question from before we take predictions on tomorrow's contest?
All right.
Um, Advent SHS had 9 in the round 1 and did extremely well in the speed race to get 22 at the end of round 2. But if you consider the round 1 and round 2, you realize that they are almost the same, just that you have to employ your speed and accuracy in the round 2. So what could account for that? That you do poorly in the round 1 and do extremely well in the round 2? Because they are all still fundamental questions: math, physics, biology, and chemistry.
It's about your opponent too. Maybe they've discovered that KNUST weren't so solid or have not been so solid in the speed race. Sometimes when you're about to meet opponents, you also do your background checks. You watch their videos and then see their strengths and weaknesses. So they could have done better in the round 1. In fact, it was quite abysmal, but maybe going into the round 2, they felt that like they had an edge over KNUST in the round 2. Because I even wanted them to rather take time trying to utilize your points in round 1 so that you calm down in the round 2, meticulous enough so that you don't make much mistakes to deduct marks. But unfortunately, they didn't do well in the round 1, but decided to put their all in the round 2 in order to have some kind of opportunity, in order to, to boost their confidence. I think it worked for them in a way, though it was dicey. In fact, the round 1, I think, let them down. So usually when you are going into contest and it's that tough, you try and utilize your points in round 1, true or false, problem of the day, and maybe try and get 1 or 2 radars. If you don't do and then you put your focus on or bang your hopes on the speed race, you may be laughing at the wrong side of your, because you may be disappointed. When pressure mounts on you, you are bound to make some little mistakes. But I think they were lucky today, it worked for them. Maybe they would learn some huge lessons from that.
Sure, thank you very much. I'll take predictions for tomorrow's contest, a few of them.
Okay.
At the SGS auditorium, we have an all-girls school derby. Accra Girls Senior High School coming up against Every Girls Senior High School and Notre Dame Girls Senior High School.
That's an exciting one, and I would have to make a tough call on this one. I think I'll go with Accra Girls for this one.
Accra Girls?
Yeah, for top spots.
Briefly, Mr. Martin, Ghana National College, Nkwetia Presby, and Nafana Presby SHS.
These Presby schools are doing well of late, and sometimes if you want to do any prediction, you wouldn't want to stick your neck out. But I think I'll go in for Ghana National. Maybe with the experience, they can pull something out. Because sometimes experience also counts. So I would want to go for Ghana National, though you can't underestimate the Presby schools lately.
Ghana National College had the highest mark in the regional qualifiers, 83 points. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here with us this evening.
Been a pleasure.
Viewers, thank you very much for joining us. Continue streaming the National Science and Maths Quiz on our Facebook page, National Science and Maths Quiz, and on YouTube, Primetime Limited and NSMQ Ghana. Before we sign off, let us remember that the National Science and Maths Quiz is proudly sponsored by the Ghana Education Service in partnership with Gold PLC and supported by JUPE, Pepsodent, Joy News, KLX, Kivo, Beta Malt, Prudential Life Insurance, Bell Beverages, Flora Tissues, Coronation Insurance, Accra College of Medicine, Academic City University College, University of Mines and Technology, PMMC Jewelry, GTP, CHAS, YFM, and Gelmark Foundation. This is a primetime production. See you tomorrow.